As you maybe have heard, I have published a book called The Expanded Bassoon Register. And in this book I'm talking a lot about higher and lower notes than what is normal on the bassoon. I'm talking a little bit about how to play them, different kind of setup needed, or at least setup that will improve or help to play in this range. I'm also sharing the kind of fingerings on the bassoon that I'm using. And all other chapters in there are like the reeds for this, embouchure stuff, ear pressure and Bocals and many other things. And especially the last thing I mentioned there is what maybe this video is going to be focused on, the Bocal. You can play both lower and higher than normal on basically whatever Bocal as long as you have the right setup. But a good Bocal is a big help to play both higher and lower. Today we're going to focus on the highest register, and a Bocal for that, like I said, you can basically use whatever, but if you have a good Bocal for it, it will help. So here I have a Bocal that is maybe not the best Bocal for normal playing. So this could be sacrificed, which has been done, which means it has been drilled a hole here. This will probably not be very visible on the camera, but on that little scratch there, there is a hole going through one side here on the top. Of course, not all the way through. That hole has a certain diameter, and the distance from the tip to where you drill the hole also has a certain measurement. All of this is mentioned in the book. And this should not really be done by anyone at home in their garage or something fancy like this. You cannot just pick up a drill, hope for the best. Please don't do that, because you will most likely destroy the Bocal. But if you know what to do, if you know the measurements, if you are careful, you are a professional, you know what you're doing, then you can actually do this pretty easily as long as you follow the steps mentioned in the book. And actually today I have a good friend with me here, Aleksandr Ziva from Russia, who has followed the steps in the book and done just this. And of course, like I said again, it's very important to not waste any brand new good Bocal on this. So Aleksandr, what kind of Bocal are you using for this?
This piece of garbage, which is made by great unknown Soviet Union maker.
That's perfect. That's exactly the kind of crappy Bocal you could sacrifice in the worst case if this doesn't work. Also, just something I want to say, if there are younger bassoonists watching this stuff, and if you want to try to do something like this, please make sure that the Bocal you have is bad enough for this. So maybe ask your teacher or ask any professional player what state your Bocal is in. I don't want to be blamed for someone sacrificing a really good Bocal on this, because that will be a total waste, okay? So be aware of that. So, back to Aleksandr. What would you say that you need for doing this operation today?
You need a sheet Bocal. You need the Expanded Bassoon Register, or just to read this page to understand how it works and blah blah blah. And then you need these things.
That's great. Good. Then you have everything you need. Before Aleksandr is going to the dramatic work to drill something in his Bocal, there are certain steps that he is also doing that I'm not showing here on camera now, just to save some time. I would rather just explain them quite briefly. He is of course measuring carefully that measurement. He uses a pencil to mark a little cross or an X where the hole is supposed to be drilled. Before he's starting to drill, he also takes a quite pointy mandrel, and he's not stabbing, but he is sort of pushing in there exactly on the cross to make a little, to destroy the Bocal a little bit, let's say a little bulk or whatever you call it. And then this is why when you start to drill, of course a Bocal is a very smooth surface and it's even round, so it's very easy for the drill to start to slide around, which then will scratch up the Bocal quite a lot and it will not look very pretty. So this is a good way to make the drill stable. Last step, of course, before you start to drill is to manage to hold this somehow. You should not be holding it. It should be any kind of stand or any kind of some stable pliers or whatever you have around. that is heavy enough and stable enough and strong enough to hold this in place without, of course, crushing it. When that is done, then you can start the fun part. When I say the fun part, I mean you can start to take on the drill, and on the following clip now with Aleksandr starting to drill in the Bocal, you probably got some dentist appointments in mind, because yeah, it does not sound very pleasant. But Aleksandr, go for it. He knows what he's doing, so don't worry about it.
Let's try to do it. I hope I will not destroy my face. I don't know what else I can destroy. Actually, I can destroy everything. Doesn't matter. Let's go.
So yeah, basically every bassoonist's nightmare. Hopefully we'll not dream about that sound. But yeah, Aleksandr, is there something else you would like to say about this?
Don't try to do it by one step. 10 seconds drilling, relax. 10 seconds drilling, relax. Of course, the drill is warming up by drilling, so it might break very easily.
That is very important to know. So now I will show you how the Aleksandr's Bocal looks like. It looks like this. And as you can see, there is the hole quite cleanly cut or drilled. And it should now theoretically be ready to play on. So Aleksandr, did you try to play something on this stuff? You want to go for it? Let's hear if it works.
I don't really know really high notes. I will try it just right now out of the Kristian's book of Expanded Register. Let's try some E flat, high E attack, and let's try to go on.
That's quite impressive, also considering it's the first time he really tried that Bocal, and also he, from what I heard, he did it on a reed that was not really suitable for the high register, and this is pretty impressive stuff, man. Good job! And also, just for fun in the end, he included some few attempts to go higher than the high A flat you hear there. I think there is an attempt also to do a high B flat. Let's see if that works. Go for it, man.
But you can hear that this note is there. I'm just doing it first time right now, so it works. Have to learn it up.
Not bad. So yeah, if you're wondering, most bassoon manufacturers are easily doing this stuff if you would like to do it professionally. You can also do it yourself. There is always a risk. In my opinion, maybe it's better to get a bassoon manufacturer to do this for you, or a bassoon repair guy, because if something happens to the Bocal, if it's for some reason completely destroyed, then you are not the one at fault. But of course, like Aleksandr had here, he had basically a Bocal that was worth 0, and there's no one who wants even to either pay for it or to play on it. So if you have a Bocal like that, that is basically just crap, then now at least it's useful for something. So now you know. You're welcome.